Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. We're live once again in the Jesus lane. I think we're tilted. Try to get Jesus in there, in the picture, and then the other Jesus will come join. See, you have on the right hand and the left hand of God. You're carried by angels on both sides, see? And then you were surrounded in the front with a whole bunch up there on the screen. No way to escape those angels. We're sending love to the Spanish brigade out there. We hope you'll jump on too as well, some of these Zooms with us so we can see your beautiful faces. That's the joy of it, really. To just shine, see the light of God shining. That was in that session where beings were just sharing how they're talking to Jesus. Whoa. I had somebody just type, "Oh, I'm so inspired. I want a joining buddy." How about that? That's when we shine our light. We're just calling more Jesuses in. So great. It's really beautiful. We're going to get that. We just need a description. We're going to post that right away tonight. I mean, it's up there already, but we usually put a little description in and then we'll shine it out on Facebook as we continue together to look at these desires. And it's helpful so everyone can hear. No one's left out, no one left behind. And to hear how many beings have been speaking with Jesus for a really long time. We've all been speaking to Jesus for a long time. Sometimes some of us takes a little longer to actually say yes when we've been. Or sometimes we didn't realize what that voice was out of the play of consciousness. And then as beautifully described today, you see, you have to hear it through your brother, number one, just as he said, right again, Jesus, right again, have to hear it through my brother. And then how he's orchestrating. And we can't know what that orchestration looks like. Otherwise, we're in the J zone, the judgment. When we've walked into the wrong courtroom. Oh, excuse me, just back out and close the door. Go back, walk down the hall, walk back in God's higher court and sit in there. That's our only function, sit in God's court. The court of yes to God. Yes to innocence. Yes, Jesus, I can hear you clear as a bell, and I'm no longer saying no to myself. That was so precious with Janet. I think I said this yesterday, but it obviously I need to hear it again because here it comes. But how she was all happy going, I can just talk. She can just talk to Jesus. Jesus is saying, you can just talk to me the whole time you're in the hospital. We can hear him all day long and just ask every question like a little child. It's the best way to ask them questions. You can ask them. It's the best way to ask you like a little child that knows nothing. Let me ask if we can talk about, like, you know how kids, and they're little and they're about 4 or 5 and they just ask every question. And the parents just really ready to tear their hair out. See, you can always tell all the parents because they get that certain smile when you say things like, see, the difference with Jesus is, doesn't matter. He's willing to answer every question. because he knows that's how we establish that trust and relationship with ourselves, with him, as the symbol of the part of ourselves that is invincible. The part of ourselves that we tried to hide. We tried to hide from ourselves in a world, but we can't totally. Is the light here? We can see that infinite light is here. That's all he's pointing to. Light, 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 and light. Ask him, Jesus, is that all you trying to show me? That I'm light? And it was hilarious because we were talking about that, about how the ego, as soon as you see your light, Emoji says it too. And then you experience that, like, well, this is boring. Oh, this is, eh. And we have to see which voice is saying that. Is Jesus saying that? Is Jesus not saying that? He's saying, stay with me, stay with the light. Hold my hand and I'll light your way. And Jesus, will you tell me when I'm jumping in the driver's seat? When is the cow leaving the barn? Did I just leave the barn? You're talking about that Ramana Maharshi when he was telling, cow leaves the barn, gently lead it back to the barn where the good, all the fresh hay is. No, I'm going outside. I don't want that fresh hay. I like just running around and trying to hunt for work for my living. And then have an argument with Jesus about why I'm not going back in the barn. I like art, it's inevitable. Like he said, it's a required curriculum. It's only the amount of time. The question is, how much time is worth it when we see that every thought believed is suffering? I'm asking him, every thought believed is suffering. It's a desire to experience suffering. And all we have to do, we don't have to judge it. Oopsie, oopsie daisy. Here's the hilarious thing. When a 2-year-old is learning to walk, are you going over there and slapping him around, when he falls down? We never do that. Okay, look, get dust up and keep going, and it's gentle. And what makes us believe that Jesus would do anything else? And I'm seeing that. That's really the belief that Jesus is going to have some kind of timeout corner. Jesus is trying to get us out of the timeout corner, out of time altogether. Jesus doesn't have, let's ask him to make sure, because, we're treating him like we treated our own parents. I'm going to get punished. The planned consciousness is stealing the cookie so we can have the experience of attack. And then blame it on our parents for years, how mean they were to us for taking that cookie away. Keep that grievance, 85 years old going, it was so terrible when my mom took, 85 years, those grievances. How much time do we want to keep those grievances going? At least we can laugh about them now. You just get to see it all with Jesus. Like Mary, he's given her the whole schema. Showing her how it's all been orchestrated. Wow. That's what we get to do when we hang out with Jesus. He really, when he tells you, he will let you know everything you need to know. And when you see start seeing what that means, Is that off the rails or what? I mean, really? You know, all kinds of things that there's just because we say we're just naked, and so the whole universe serves everything. You know, we've been going down the little cafeteria in the, you know, it's a dungeon cafeteria, just calling the, you know, calling dog meat steak, you know. He's going, look what I have, the whole universe is like behind you. But it's not the form that's being delivered. It's infinite light being delivered 24/7, and we're just we're ceasing to walk out of God's courtroom, we're into the darkness where there's no light whatsoever. And then the universe, you can see it, like Mary said, it's delivering it out. Just to give a spaciousness for this joining. Because this is God's priority for us. Ask him, holy smokes. Yeah, he's clear on that. This is the priority. These joinings. Joining with a brother. Yeah, I can't hear him say anything else is a priority, actually. Not a darn thing. And I can hear him saying, this is like God's voice, let it be done according to my will. This is coming in from the Father's will, which is our will. That's got some power behind it. He's not kidding about chapter 20. I haven't seen that at all. Okay. This is a fast trip and an easy trip. He's taking us totally out of fear. Oh man, so much love in that. Fear does not exist, and he's going to show us exactly that by direct experience. And actually, after a couple of rounds with desire, where we see like we're desiring it and all that, after a while, it's like in desired experience, and you start to see if you stay with the desire as beings are reporting. So he can help just clear out that no energy, and you go deep enough. Like that was beautiful reflection, how beings are talking about how he's going to take them down. If you don't go far enough down, see, you're just, it's fine in the beginning because we forgive where we can forgive. But I mean, if he's willing to show us each desire all the way down and clean out that closet, who's going to say no in an easy way? You know, he's gonna, so that we have no, you know, what is it? We don't even know what projection is. Like, I might play a little bit, dance a little with the devil, but we know how quickly we can choose again. And the speed of a miracle. And we know for sure if the miracle's not immediate, when we're looking at the desires, we need his help to see where the no is. And he's taken us all the way. This is the rocket ship. I'm not sure who said that first, but they're absolutely right. So yesterday we were delving into the relishing of pain. Let's get Jesus to show this to us quickly, how much we relish pain. Ask him first, Jesus, is it possible for me to walk this earth without a shred of pain? Is pain unnatural to me? So much happiness when he tells you that. Inside, when it, like we said, you know, it like detonates in there. It lives the life of that. Rather than owning pain, wanting to own it. We think it's in the play, right? It's where'd this pain come from? Now think of the power of seeing, exactly where it comes from. Trying to project it out. In face of innocence, not looking directly. Then we see, okay, there's divine power. Look directly and see. The power of thought to miscreate an experience of pain and then know with 100% certainty that the voice for God, without a doubt, as Melissa said, no doubts that's Jesus's voice, that one is going to show us exactly how to pain. When this world is, everything's terrified about pain and illness and let's just be clear because we can all hear him. Jesus, is it necessary for me to experience one shred of pain? He says your Father would not have it for you. Thank you, Jesus. Is it necessary in one shred for me to suffer on the spiritual journey? Is it necessary for one shred of fear on the spiritual journey? And the beauty of that is he says that directly in A Course in Miracles. Not one shred. It may appear because we like, the play in consciousness. But then the pain now becomes the wake-up call. Instead of running from it, taking a pill for it, trying to sidewind it, trying to pretend it's there, try to get rid of it, which are all ways to try to keep it as experience. Ask Jesus, is those all ways to try to keep pain as experience? So instead of all those things, we go directly to the one who knows and do exactly what he told us in the Course, exactly, which is, Jesus, will you show me the underlying conditions that seem to be creating this experience of pain or illness or unhappiness and now we know what they are. Now we know how to look directly at the engine, go to the engine room with them, the energetic investment in the desire for the experience, for the dream. Then he just takes this little pencil eraser out. He just starting with the acceptance of our brother as bringing the gifts of heaven to us. And like Jenna said, oh, that was so off the rails, everything everyone was saying. Thank you. About how it's transfer training. See, once the desire's gone, that's what I could see. Like I could see, I'd forgive and it's helpful. Forgive. And forgiveness is really good. It's just that when he's taking it into the basement and it clears it so deeply, do you see, it's the mind rests more. We're not running from ourselves as much when the desires just start. The Jesus closet cleaning out our closets with Jesus so we can feel light. That's my house was so neat, like in the middle, and I just had a few things, but if you opened up a closet, it was, it was probably a reflection, boy. I wonder if I can get one more thing in there. It's kind of like that conscious mask. Yeah, Jesus said, yeah, that's how consciousness is. It looks, it tries to look really nice and, not too cluttered. At least hoarders are like obvious. Do you see? It's how consciousness plays. We're really giving hoarders a hard time, right? No, we're the hoarders because we're hoarding all the desires below them. It says, yes, it's true. We're hoarding those little desires down there, like little special treasures. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. And then we're duking it out with them over those desires. Not so much anymore, not the beings that are really starting to join because they see, they start seeing that straight up to heaven. It's just going. But, until we really get in that consistent pattern of joining. You just you back up that truck. And I remember that's what Jesus would say to me. I just remember I was it's actually at the Canyon in Living Miracles, and I was at a retreat, and they were kerfuffling, and I was joining with somebody about the kerfuffling and asked them about it, and we get the reflections back that we asked for. But the reflection was, no, whatever I'd asked them about, don't go looking. But I knew that Jesus had told me, and he says, search your mind. Why would he say that? Of course, unless he means it, search your mind. Now, at first you can only, do a few minutes of it, but these are all advanced students that can speak to him. Okay, and he's telling me besides, the time is right now. The mind's ready for it. Anyway, so I went back in I was staying in a little trailer there. They had me in a little trailer. And Jesus told me directly, back the truck up. You can bring me everything. It's like, this is sounding good. So let's just load that baby up. And actually now remembering, he would tell me quite a lot. Because it was coming up in the coaching sessions too. Let's just back that truck up. Beep, beep, beep. Give them the whole thing. So thank you for the reminder, Jesus. I really appreciate it. Back that whole thing up and give it to him. Let's ask him. Oh, he's already said it. So it's completely within our divine power. Why wait? He says. Why wait on a timeline? That sounds practical to me. Oh, he's reminding me how, oh gosh, so much love in that. We don't ask for enough. Like how little we truly are asking for. That really has bloomed a lot in the mind. Like I can see, like when I read the course, I didn't understand that what he was talking about, you asked for too little. What I saw and realized, I was asking for hell. Actually, you didn't ask for hell is asking for too little. It's like the ladder of prayer. Like the ladder of prayer and how he talks about, like in the beginning, you kind of ask for objects. At first, okay, Jesus, the hurricane's coming, let my family be safe. I mean, God doesn't mind any kind of prayer, because any kind of prayer is reaching out and communicating with the infinite. But what Jesus is offering is for us to see we are the prayer 24/7, ongoing celebration with the totality of all that is life. It exactly as it is, singing totality. Like full on love singing. And I just know that the thought here was, Jesus, I really want to skip all that middle part. On the Song of Prayer, I just want to skip. I want to go from, I'm just going to go and ask for nothing. There's so much love in that. And I see that is helpful. Ask for nothing and receive everything. But we can be there asking for nothing, but if below the level of our awareness, see, we're asking for everything except for God under there. Even where we're praying to heaven and I want nothing, but the conflict of the war is on beneath the level of awareness. And so as those desires are released, then we're just resting as our natural state, which is infinite. When the desires are released. And we're seeing how to fine tune right into that infinite, where he's just directing us. It's like those little corrections like this. No, not that, this over here. Okay, focus on this. This is what you need to see. This is what you need to say. Here's where you need to go. And that's restful. See, at first it sounded like this, you know, because we want to usurp the power of God. Consciousness likes to play usurp control over Jesus or something. So it sounds really horrific, but then you start seeing, oh, this is so I can just rest as who I am. And I'm saying, and so you're doing all the heavy lifting. And he's going, yes, exactly. And it's not heavy lifting for anything, but there's a way. We're so used to in consciousness, someone doing the heavy lifting. So consciousness can relate to something doing a heavy lifting. But see, God doesn't have to lift a darn thing. It's just to help us get out of the way. The I who thinks it can do everything. The I know to God. And step back and let him lead the way. So here we go. We're talking about pain. You relish it. That's a great one to go deep on. Relishing pain. He says it's well worth the time spent with me. So much happiness. Just even, you start, actually, it just flips the whole thing. You start, and I could see the reflections appearing, right? My brother, you just start getting so drawn to looking. And someone mentioning, yeah, and Jesus was waking me up at 3 a.m. And you'll see that was happening here too. It's like, as soon as my eyes would pop open, I wouldn't worry about whether I was going to go back to sleep or anything. I'd just start talking to him. Like, you just get in that habit. It's like, okay, what do I need to see, Jesus? Can I look now? Can I look now with you? You know? Because he wants you to see there's like no guilt. And these are things that need to be released from the subconscious mind. It's like, okay. Like I'm in it. And that really will help take care of those whatever's happening at night things, because consciousness loves that at night. So many beings that appeared here for myself, this reflection, other reflections talking about, especially at the center, we have a 24-hour joining, well, policy, guidance, because Jesus is available 24/7. It's just a symbol of him, but no one yet at this center has ever come into my room in the middle of the night. I must be scary. I don't know. But then beings will report, yeah, at night I can't sleep and it's all this. And somehow that's the play. I know, because I didn't want to join either. Because, you know, all the reasons I don't want to interrupt someone, or I can handle this myself, or all those kinds of things. But now, once you have that relationship with Jesus too, you can, unless he assigns you, he may give you the assignment to contact someone in the middle of the night. And we say, yes, I would say. Do I say that for the whole? Yes, for the whole team. Because Jesus is available 24/7, so we're available because our happiness is 24/7. Like, what do you mean, Jesus, you're going to interrupt my sleep? You have so much energy that this body would have been, this, whatever this is here, would have been the last one to say, oh, goody, I'm getting up at 6 every morning. And the energy level, like, you don't care what time you go to sleep so much. You just, there's just so much love. Like, you wake up in the morning with like so much love pouring. That's a little bit of a contrast to, oh God, I don't want to get out of this bed. That's how can I hit the snooze for a little bit longer? Now, if I'm in meditation with Jesus, we'll do a 50-minute meditation. I'm like asking him, okay, Jesus, can I do something? I'm like, how about another 20? Is that all right? And that's what I was telling everyone. That's why those morning sessions, like we'd spend that time, we contemplate a look with Jesus. I couldn't stop laughing in those morning sessions because it all that love that's free, and it free just gets bubbling out. The joy just bubbles. You can see the little joy bubbles out of the beings that are joining. It's really beautiful. So we were talking about relishing the experience of pain, and then create an experience in which you do not recall that you relish the experience of it, and thus maintain a sense of what is not natural to you. This is so good to be clear on with Jesus. Jesus, is pain natural to me? See that pain's not natural to you. When you admit this, you can also see how you can transcend the experience of it. That's so valuable. Jesus, can I transcend the experience of pain? Just ask him. So much love, you get a cuddle. That's so encouraging. You feel inspired to keep looking at desire so you can transcend pain. The idea, it's a concept. Ask him, Jesus, is pain a concept? It's like the little, I don't know if you saw that little video, it's so cute, where I was talking about how consciousness likes to fold thought into little paper tigers. Mm-hmm. You know, little origami, you know, isn't it origami? Is that what? Yeah. And, you know, you fold the paper, and sure enough, we found a little picture that has a little paper tiger folded up, a little paper and little paper giraffes. And that's what pain is. A little concept folded up to try to prove a body. You can ask Jesus about that. It's a good topic, isn't it, Jesus? He's like, yes. So much fun talking to him, getting the lowdown. Okay. So when you admit this, you can see how you can transcend. As soon as you can admit, oh, Jesus, you are right. And in chapter 20, he goes through quite a bit on pain and really getting into that. Holy smokes, I want this more than God. Jesus, do I want pain more than God? He says, if it's appearing, yes, you do. Now, but now we have a place to go. We're in honesty of God now. Seeing that we want the experience, or consciousness wants to play. I'm checking in, actually, I know. And then you go with him and look at desire till he says you're done. And it might seem a while, and then the ego might come, just ignore all that. That's the ego's job, to argument. Our job is not to argue with the ego. Not our business what the ego says. Ask Jesus. Is that my business what the ego says? Not one shred of business with the ego. Because we have to see who's generating it. To just withdraw all support from it. See, that's the play of the ego. If we withdraw our support for it, we'll go to hell. Instead of the truth is we go to heaven. To see that heaven's always here, because we just no longer going and throwing a Molotov cocktail on hell. God, it's so hot in here, you know, and then we throw a Molotov cocktail. You know what that is? Kind of an incendiary explosive device on the sense of hell that we're feeling. But that is powerful. When you admit this, you can see how you can transcend the experience of it. And that's direct experience. That becomes direct experience. Well, you will see how you can transcend pain. Whoa. Then you'll be on it. It's like with Jesus. The true power you have is granted by the Father. A power that does not invest in the experience of pain. Does the light of infinite being invest in any way, shape, or form in pain? This need not be, Jesus is saying. And he says that in the Course, that beings can transcend without experiencing pain. The pain is always the no to God. Ask Jesus so it can be really clear. Is pain always a no to God? Are there any exceptions to pain being no to God? Wow. He says there's no exceptions, even a twitch. Okay. So it's not, I mean, it's emotional pain, but it's so hidden. Pain is so hidden. You know, we think of pain, and I can see that too. The pain is something that shows up in a body, but it's not only that kind of pain. You know, pain showing up, oh, my toe hurts. And we were talking about Jesus being direct. On the cross, I did not experience pain because I did not desire to experience it. And we're all here in Jesus. Let's just ask him, Jesus, on the cross, did you experience pain? As a symbol in, you know, because someone asked me, like, if we know there's only light, why do we talk in relative terms like the story of the crucifix? Because it's helpful, because it's our assignment by him. And he's the only one that knows what's helpful for me to say. So as long as he asks me to talk about the crucifixion, then I'm going to keep talking about it, because that's love. That's something that obviously is helpful for me to express in the world. Did Jesus experience pain? No. All the power. It's a symbol of accepting all the power granted by the Father. On the cross, I did not experience pain because I did not desire to experience it. In admitting full unity with the Father, pain is impossible. Pain is impossible without projection. The light doesn't project. Is pain a projection? Asked Jesus. Is pain a projection? Harry teases me about asking Jesus. And now they're saying it. Ask Jesus. It's good for all of us. I'm asking him. He says yes, because it's practicing for ourselves, to remind ourselves to ask Jesus, because it's always for us. It's not for anyone. It's divine expression celebrating itself by saying words like ask Jesus. Oh, there's happiness in that. Okay. Pain is impossible. In seeing all as the same as the Father sees it, all as the same. Love only. Pain cannot coexist with perfect love. Thank you, Jesus. He's given us the direct means to experience that. Perfect love. We can ask him. See, because pain is fear. Ask Jesus, is pain fear? It's an expression of fear. But through the release of desire, we see we have nothing to fear. Its fear is a mask. It's a mask over what has never known fear, our true identity. Desire expresses its rage, which hides itself in a diversity of expressions within consciousness. Make no mistake that this is all the same, a denial of infinite love, infinite perfection. Pain is a judgment against yourself that the Father does not share. So Jesus, is pain self-judgment? See, if I can send my self to hell before the Father sends me to hell, I'll be safe. I can get there first. Let's ask, Jesus, does my Father share that I need pain? Does love know what pain is? Pain is at your command to keep or cease. So I'm asking, this is helpful again to say. So if you're experiencing pain, join, because it's for everyone to see through. It's service to the whole to see through these, because we live in a world that believes there's no escape from pain. Jesus is saying, you're the demonstrations of what's true. You're here to demonstrate everything I'm teaching as true. See that you provide all the power that makes pain seem real, an investment in what can never be natural to your holiness. How could you be so happy to talk about pain? And the joy of the recognition that there is a way not to experience not one shred of it. And ask him when it appears. He says it can sometimes appear, because remember, the ego's judging everything. Sometimes it's just clearing through, and it seems like something's painful. Just ask him to interpret everything. Is this something, do I have to look at this? Is this something I need to clear? And sometimes he's reminding me how he tells me, let me handle it. He'll say, give this to me. So he's directing everything. You look at this, I'll handle that. You give no thought to this. And then he's just directing all the traffic. And that just lets things just kind of fall away. Because there's that doer thing is, we like to own that doer. We like that little doer in there. So that's why we have to give it to him to break that habit of the doer. So he can take us all the way home to see that we're our home. And that our home is actually seeing we're one with our brother, and to be with our brother, at home with our brother, as the symbol of God within us. Okay, strap on the seat belts. We're going home. All the way together. Thank you, Jesus. Love you. So much love from San Juan, Coastal of Mexico.